Hello, welcome to my Security Linux tutorial 11. The specific software I'll be using right now is NMAP, specifically for OS security, although there is a lot of network related tools as well, and this bridges into the network field. Now, downloading NMAP is very simple, as simple as downloading this. There are no paths you have to manually create, there are no environment variables you have to assign. As simple as just downloading it from this website is an open source thing, and this gives really good information and expands the idea that people can use different types of software that are even open source to really, uh, without IT expertise, on how to understand and potentially exploit threats. Now, in Nmap, we have here, uh, I can set my target to 192.168.0.1. This is my own router, so I'm able to do this. Although doing it on other servers would be strictly prohibited. And although you could do it even outside of the NAT onto the internet addresses as well. Now, we initialize the scan. The most important part will be the detection of the OS, which will come up soon. Discovered open source, you can see with Nmap as a security tool. This is actually a very simple yet very important step for a lot of OS security related stuff, because what it does is it finds out what the RSA encryption is, whether the encryption was a new or old standard SHA-256, that if it was SHA-1, it would be trackable, the SSL certification, the MAC address, the device type, the Linux version, and I'll get to that later, that will be the most important part, not valid. The signature algorithm is not valid before this time, and B5 SHA-1. Now, what the most important part here is the Linux kernel 2.632 to 3.13. Why does this make a difference? Well, in terms of OS security, we know there are a lot of kernel-related bugs, patches, and especially for Linux being very open source, it's very easy to do a discovery attack. Now, the vulnerabilities in Linux 2.6, this shows how easy it is for somebody to simply use Google to create and find exploits in the network. The Linux 2.6 kernel is a result of denial of service attacks, privilege escalation, memory corruption, buffer overflows, etc., etc. I asked to be more specific, and it's very simple for anyone to be able to do this. This vulnerability in a kernel's virtual file system, a vulnerability in the kernel's handling. Keep in mind, this is not the up-to-date version of Linux. So we did find a potential vulnerabilities in this network. uh, the main point here is that not to say whether we can hack a computer or not. The main point here is really showing what potential adversaries and security engineers can really do to educate the rest of us on how easy it is to discover confidential information on routers. Now, what you can do is use other networking tools like Wireshark to be able to try to decrypt, use rainbow tables to decrypt the RSA encryption, to decrypt SHA-256. Our main point here is really seeing that you can't not just only see network visibility of your own network. You can really do this towards the DNS of Google, for example. You can discover network visibility. This is an important tool for security reasons. And it shows a lot of all the information in the click of a button without needing to use complicated Linux commands. This shows really the future of IT in specific in combination with networking. Now, if we go to the D-Link router, we can see here in a very simple format, the IPv4 address, the D-Link router, the OS, the ports used, the OS classification, 3.6, TCP sequence. Difficulty is good luck means it is very difficult for you to crack. The class is 0, TCP/TS sequence, comments. Now, this network, I would say, would be somewhat secure in some senses, where it does have good SSL certification, it has security encryption, it has RSA encryption, it has SHA-256. However, our main issue here would be, again, OS security was actually the breach in this point because of the old version of Linux. We could potentially use these types of mitigating threats to really know that even my own home router from a commercial company does have some issues. And this really shows not only just how to exploit issues, but what the purpose of networking is in cybersecurity in general, is to try to mitigate these types of threats while trying to increase the types of availability. and confidentiality.